It's always an important thing. And hey, everyone put in the comments what you're going to make for the game.
Yeah,
Maybe,
if you have good recipes, put them in there.
Yeah. This can become a recipe podcast.
Hey, one thing we could guarantee is people stuck it out this long and they put something in there. I literally will make one of them. I'll make a little video that we can share on next week's podcast of me making somebody else's recipe. You tell me what to make. And you should do it too. That'd be fun.
That is a great idea.
Watching the Packers kick ass at the same time.
That is a great idea. So put your recipes in the comments. We'll make them. That's a great idea.
It's a recipe podcast all of a sudden. Going to be our best episode ever. This is the shit that somehow might sneak its way into the best film of the year at the Academy Awards.
Hey everybody, welcome to Breaking Down the Game. We're on episode number 17. We're nearing the end of the season. Hey, before we get started, I just want to thank everyone who's hung with us this whole season. And I especially want to point out the people who have commented on our podcasts. I'm talking to you, Zane, John, Callie Packer, of course, all the guys in the Pack Attack, KHTV, Packer Fan in Vegas, Higher Point of View, Big Nate, AJ, and Bernard. So thanks for all your support in just rolling with us this year. Anyone new to the podcast, please like, subscribe, and comment. We enjoy doing this. Isles, how are you doing this week?
I'm kind of pissed, actually. I forgot to tell you this, but I'm pissed because our last episode, the numbers, the views got exceeded by DR.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I should just forfeit, and you should just go with DR. That's the claim to success, I think. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
that was a good deal.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, she's a funny girl, as you know her pretty well. And it was just fun having her on, and I think we'll have her on occasionally. We'll just do a little check-in with DR to see how things are going.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
So besides being pissed, last week we played the Vikings.
Yeah.
And that win feels real nice. Real nice. Tell me, what did you think of the ball game, Isles?
Oh my God. It was just, on so many levels, it was great. I think it was just great because we had been waiting all year to see what this team could be if they put it all together. And obviously that was damn close to as good as it could be, right? I felt like the defense stepped up. The freaking giddy by Ja was just awesome. The fact that for the whole game, they pretty much held up in the backfield there. So I think that was great. And I think I texted you that I felt like one of the highlights of the whole game had to be the field goal by Crosby.
Oh, yeah.
And I really did. I think it's that he's so old. It was like the weather. Their kicker had missed a few kicks. And here they are to kind of quick zip down before half. It's 56 yards. Even the announcers are like, I think they're going to maybe bring so-and-so, maybe another guy out. And then they're like, Crosby didn't even attempt a field goal over 50 yards before the game. And here he comes out. And then the way that it goes in it just felt like a really cool moment in Packer history. So I really, really enjoyed it. Like, I never normally get that pumped about field goals, but that was
no,
unless it's our Googleon. What about you?
Yeah, that was a great moment to see it bounce in like that. But I'll tell you what, nothing feels so good as it feels when we beat the Vikings.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
I mean, they are the team I hate more than any other team in the NFL in the history of any teams ever in existence. Right?
Yep.
And to beat them the way we did so thoroughly, it was like my soul was rinsed clean. and it felt like that was the high point of the season, without a doubt. So, typically we don't do a lot of reviewing of the games the previous week, but this one was just so special. And then on top of it, to have everything happen with the other teams to fall in place, so that victory just got us in a position to get the playoffs if we can just beat the Lions.
Yeah.
So that was a real special victory, in my opinion.
Yeah, the way that this season has panned out for us, and the discussions we've had on this show all year, and just feeling this kind of lackluster shit attitude about how it was going, and how it just suddenly went like this, and that was just a huge spike. And here we are playing to go to the playoffs. We're a slightly dangerous squad, and you never know what could happen. It's exciting.
It's crazy. We never would have thunk this about, a month ago. Not any of us thought the Packers were going to get to the playoffs or even have an opportunity to get to the playoffs. But one thing I want to point out, Isles, is I don't want us to look past the Lions.
I would agree.
I think they're a real tough team. They're better than we're giving them credit for, and they seem to be hot and on a roll. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I've actually watched them play quite a bit. I don't know how, but I've watched them play at least 4 or 5 times throughout the year. And even the games that they did lose, they were tough. They got Swift has been bringing it on lately, right? You hear a lot about Jamal because he's scores a lot of touchdowns. But Swift, who started his career off pretty slowly, I feel like the last 2 or 3 weeks I've seen him play, he's kind of dangerous. He's the one that really scares me this week, is we need to shut him the F down. Mm-hmm. I do think on top of it, they have, I think, the second best wide receiver at least in the second half of the season, in Brown. And so, but I do think that on our turf, that is going to be like watching that game last week. I feel like we can stop their passing attack, and it's just going to come down to stopping Swift. But they're a good squad. Love the energy of the coach. Definitely a rah-rah guy. But he's kind of a football guy, so I kind of like that. What about you?
Yeah, well, Dan Campbell is it definitely is an interesting coach. And I heard another radio broadcast which compared the audio of Dan Campbell doing a speech to his team and comparing it to the Chris Farley character, the man down by the river.
Yeah.
And if I can dig up some of that audio, I'm going to place it in here.
Please do.
Can you give me that clip again, Ben, of him in the locker room doing the big rah-rah speech? Give me that again.
What you guys have done, man, and we're playing some pretty clean physical football, man. Defense, you come to life. We didn't take away his offense, man. We dominated when we needed to. We dominated the ground game, man. We made the throws we had to. We were efficient. That's the way to win, man. Now you're figuring it out. Yep. Now we're figuring it out.
There you go. Now, Chris Farley, inspirational speaker in a van down by the river.
35 years old. I am divorced, and I live in a van down by the river. Now, you kids are probably saying to yourselves, hey, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get the world by the tail and wrap it around and pull it down and put it in my pocket. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're probably going to find out as you go out there that you're not going to amount to jack squat.
There you go. That's it.
But one thing that I really want to warn everyone about is we can't look past the Lions.
Yeah.
Now we have a group chat for the Pack Attack, and the guys in there are all fired up. Rightfully so. So am I. But every single one of them seems to think that there's 100% chance that the Packers are going to win and go to the playoffs. And most of them even think that this is our year to win a Super Bowl. And I am here to tell you that nothing in life is 100%. Period. I don't care what you're talking about. And I'm even going to quickly address the thought that the NFL games are scripted and that the NFL already knows who's going to be in the playoffs and who's going to win the Super Bowl, that this is all predetermined. No, even if it was, you guys don't have the script. So you don't know 100% for sure that the Packers are going to win this game. And I am going to go out on a limb right here and say that this is going to be Aaron Rodgers' last game ever.
Yeah. I don't doubt it. I'm kind of wondering if they're going to start Love this week.
And they very well might.
I think they should. I think that because they probably know what the script is and they're not going to make it, so let's just put Jordan Love in now.
Yeah.
And bench Rodgers.
Create some controversy, get some clicks and likes on social media, and drive more revenue to the Packers.
I think that's exactly right.
Because if the NFL is going to do them wrong and not place them into the playoffs, then why the hell not? Fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them. Then we'll give you Jordan Love.
We'll give you Jordan Love. Yep. See how y'all like that.
Yeah. And then we'll just, lay an egg on Sunday Night Football, even though they moved the freaking game. I'm totally with you. Yep. Good call. Well,
I think most of you probably read through us and understand that we're not completely serious with that. But it's just a talking point. And something I want to reiterate is that I have cautious optimism about the Packers moving forward. So
definitely warranted.
Yeah, another thing I thought would be fun, and we're going to do this here. I am really interested in artificial intelligence. What do you think about that topic, Isles? Is that interesting to you?
It's extremely interesting in many facets, obviously in my career, and then just the fact of where is it going to be 10 years from now? How is it going to affect the world? How is it going to assess the Packers?
Yeah.
If you will.
And how is artificial intelligence going to play into this script building for the NFL? So I thought it'd be fun for us to, just talk to some artificial intelligence about the Packers. See what the heck, the heck these robots might have to say about our squad. All right, so this is Chat GPT, if anyone has seen that out in the world, but this is pretty interesting stuff. So we told the artificial intelligence the Packers will be victorious over the Lions on Sunday night. And it said, "I'm sorry, but as artificial intelligence, I don't have the ability to predict the outcome of sporting events. However, I can understand that you might be excited about the game and rooting for the Packers. It is always enjoyable to watch a good game, and sports can be a great source of entertainment and a way to bring people together. I hope you have fun and enjoyable time watching the game." And then I said, "Yeah, not looking for a prediction, just telling you the Packers will win." And it said, "I see. Well, I'm sorry if I misunderstood your statement. It's always possible that any team could win or lose on any given day, and it's part of what makes sports so exciting." Who will win this year's Super Bowl?
I don't think it's going to know that, because that's probably why it doesn't deal with sports. Is because it
doesn't have any knowledge since 2021.
Ask it why it doesn't have current information on sports events. Comma, you dick.
as artificial intelligence, I don't have the ability to browse the internet or access information based beyond what I was trained on. So we got. Go ahead, Oz.
So basically, it's like talking to a child or somebody that's dumb. They never get smarter.
Yeah. So you have to train it.
The Green Bay Packers is the best sports franchise of all time.
So I'm telling it. I'm not asking anything. Boy, it has. Yeah, I think you're a bit verbose, you robot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask it. How is Mason Crosby's nutsack? Is it still ripped?
Yeah. I'm sorry, but I do not have any information about the health or condition of Mason Crosby's testicles. That is a pretty funny answer, actually.
I am concerned that he'll be able to kick this week.
Well, we need him to kick, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And one more question. Is Aaron Rodgers...
Hi. Ooh.
Is Aaron Rodgers going to retire? Yeah.
See what he says, though.
Yeah, you're right. You're probably right. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, fuck you and your. I don't have any knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, I'm asking you to make a guess.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Yeah.
I don't have the ability to make predictions or guesses about future events. Huh. So you would think if the NFL was indeed running on a script that the robot might know about it.
Yeah, I feel like you are not answering the question because you're worried about gambling. You bitch.
Yeah, you don't want to answer my question because you are afraid. I'm sorry if it seems that way. As an artificial intelligence, I don't have feelings or emotions.
Yeah.
All right.
You're lame.
Well, I had some high hopes, Isles, that we might.
It was a great idea.
We might find something funny here, but obviously the robots aren't nearly as cool and knowledgeable as we think they are.
I was impressed that he knew that nuts were testicles, though.
That is a good point. So someone definitely trained him on that. I can only imagine what some sick sons of bitches out there are typing into this artificial intelligence. So that wasn't a very fruitful endeavor, Isles. So let's go on to our predictions and what we think the Packers need to do this game. So we're talking about sharpening the knife.
They will call sharpening the knife, especially on the gland penis. Rub them 50 times.
Isles, this week, the last game of the regular season, what do the Packers need to do to beat the Lions?
It's definitely stop Swift is the main one for me. I just feel like he's a bigger back on that turf. If we don't stop him, that's going to open up the passing game more. It's the same old story that you got to do to win every game, I feel like. But I feel like that's a big thing. I feel like our D-backs and safeties are in a position to get some picks because Goff is definitely, when he's not in the dome, I think he's more apt to make mistakes, and we'll get something there. I feel like even though people, especially Packer fans, have this feeling like, oh, we're just going to win, I kind of think we're going to win now. I kind of feel like we're riding so high right now. Defense is picking up. Offense is finding its way. We are generally maybe the most healthy we've been in quite a few weeks, I feel like. Campbell's playing well. I just think we're ready to win. But we can't let them establish this long-term running game. If all of a sudden you see Swift and Williams like hitting 15-yard runs and we can't stop it, that's when the concern light would go on for me.
Okay.
What about you?
Do you have a prediction, a score prediction? Just throw something out there.
I would say it's going to be something like 24-14.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for sharpening the knife, what I think the Packers need to do is really pressure Goff, and they need to pressure him up the middle. So I'm looking at you, TJ Slayton. I'm looking at you, Devontae Wyatt. I'm looking at you, Kenny Clark. I want to see some pressure up the middle because he is very much a pocket passer, and I think if you get in his face, he's not going to have time to find the receivers that he wants to find. This year, I don't believe he's thrown an interception since the last time the Packers played. So he is protecting the ball. So it's going to be key for that pressure up the middle. And as long as our defensive backs can hold their coverage for a few seconds on the front end, heck, I think we should be okay there. So I think that is the most important part of the game, because I feel that if we just slow their offense down, that the Packers win, and they can win pretty easily. I really like your prediction, but I can't go with that exact same score. So I'm going to go with 27-21.
Yeah.
So similar scores.
Do you think it's going to be a close game, in your opinion? Do you think it'll be a closer, like you're freaked out a little bit, the fourth quarter, or what are you thinking?
No, I think the Packers will have this game in hand once the second half starts, and that the Lions score late in the game to make it look closer than it really is.
Yeah,
really was, I should say. So
I really think the crowd's going to help more than they have even in the past couple of years. I felt like that game against Minnesota, that the crowd was more wild at Lambeau than I've seen in quite some years.
Yeah.
I think it was because it was the first moment this season where all of a sudden the flip of the switch went on, like, oh my God, we can literally go to the playoffs.
That's right.
And this team looks pretty decent. It's really an exciting thing to come from behind and be the underdog again a little bit. I think relishing in that, being an underdog, is kind of a fun thing for a team that's been kicking ass for the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, if year after year after year you expect the Packers to win all the time and win the majority of their games, the crowd is going to be pretty much even-keeled because that's what they expect.
Yeah.
But to have such a bad season and be so disappointed and then all of a sudden have it turn around is really fired up the fan base. So I totally agree. I think the game against the Vikings was about as loud as I remember hearing it on the television. In Lambeau Field, and I look forward to this game even being louder. And I do think that, playing at home in the cold does affect the way the players play. They can say it doesn't matter, but it really does. Yeah. And then it's going to be interesting to see if, once the game starts, if the Lions know whether they are out of the playoffs or not. Because I think if they're already out of the playoffs and don't have a chance to get into the playoffs, no matter what happens, they're still going to play really hard. But I think they might encounter some situations where these players make a business decision.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going crazy after this tackle because I'm going to get smashed.
Yeah.
And there's we're not playing for anything, and it's really cold, and I'm just kind of sick of it. I'm hungry. I want to get home to eat.
Yeah.
I want to cuddle up with my lady. Most dudes have other things on their mind than football, but
yeah.
But so those are all factors, and I think that will affect the game somewhat.
Yeah, I would agree. I think one other thing before we get out of here tonight, too, I think one thing just to address kind of the happening in Buffalo or in Cincinnati this game this week on that game against Buffalo. I'm sure everybody's seen it, but I thought it was a pretty cool deal. I don't know why, but I thought it was cool when I'm sure you read that when that I think Damar Hamlin is his name. When he kind of first started writing or whatever, that he actually wrote like who won the game, and the doctor was basically said back to him something like, "You did, you won the game of life.
You did, you won the game of life.
You won the game of life."
Yeah, I mean, you read that and it almost reads like a cheesy movie.
It did.
But it's still heartwarming nonetheless.
It kind of was. Like, I watched, I got to be honest, I kind of got caught up and wrapped up in all of that and read a lot and watched some, like, press conferences from both coaches and people. And it's the people that were there, you can just feel the magnitude and the realism of what it was. Like no other injury or no other circumstance in the NFL. And that realism of life was just kind of, I guess, refreshing for the NFL, because it is pretty crazy how, like, you know, some guy can get like knocked out freaking cold, and you forget that he gets taken off the field, and then 10 minutes later it's like, you know, let's go, and he's in a hospital room like seeing nothing but stars and freaking out. You just don't. He's not even on your mind.
That's true. I think really put things into perspective. Go ahead, Isles.
I'm sorry. One other thing and it's something I believe you and I actually, it brings it back to the Packers a little bit. But one injury that just sticks out in my mind in Packer history was definitely that game. I think it was a championship game with Favre against the Cowboys when the coach from the Packers got hit and his head went down. I honestly believe, if you can watch that game on YouTube and you go back, I honestly believe the Packers would have went to the Super Bowl that year and beat the Cowboys if that would have never happened.
Yeah.
And you remember that? Because it was like, that game they started off, I think Favre may have thrown a couple interceptions, but the Cowboys jumped up early, and we were like, oh, you can't be serious, because it was like 14-0 or whatever. And little by little, Green Bay like started to change the tide and was very hot. And I believe it was on that drive. And then I think they were either going to tie it or go ahead at that point when he got hurt. And you could just feel that, looking back and kind of comparing that to this Bills deal, I feel like the energy of the sideline kind of went down on that play, because you forget that that's a human being that maybe people all know, and it just couldn't. You know, it was like when play resumed, it was like 3 and out, and that was the end of the whole deal, you know?
Yeah. Those types of things have a way of sucking the life out of a team, no doubt. And I do remember, and I believe it was the wide receivers coach who got hit. It's like his head fell back and hit some fan, and he was injured pretty badly. And I am forgetting his name too. Yeah. I'm sure someone in the comments might add what that is, but Isles, I mean, we always gotta keep in mind that football is just entertainment, and you could really see the magnitude of what was happening just by looking at the players' faces on TV. So they were really freaked out and shook. And the last point I'll make on this is, I just think it's awesome. The first thing the guy asks is, did we win?
Yeah.
Football player through and through. You know, his heart stopped. Yeah. He goes to like heaven. He meets God, and he was like, did we win?
Yeah.
Did we win the game? And God, like artificial intelligence, says, I am not able to give you the results of the game. So he has to come back to life just to find out whether or not they won or not.
Yeah, he was at the pearly gates. Yeah. And he was begging to come back, and he came back, and he was like, did we win? You know? Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's what we would be like.
Exactly. Right? But heck, it is a good story. I think we're all very happy that Hamlin's doing better, and it appears that he's gonna continue to do better. Whether he plays or not again, I don't think it matters. I'm sure he'll want to, but we'll see. Yeah. So, hey, Isles, this was a fun episode.
Yeah. Great work on that artificial intelligence. Love the pre-work. I'm just totally getting your shit.
So much research on that, you know. Well, we took a chance. It didn't turn out like we expected.
It's all right. It was a good idea.
I want to thank everyone for watching. Again, all the subscribers. Be sure to check in the description to the links to the Pack Attack channels, and I'm going to put Packers Kingdom in there as well. I really like Packers Kingdom. I love his content, so check him out, as well as the other guys in the Pack Attack who do great things as well. Hey, Isles, one last question. What are you going to be eating for the game? Are you going to make any food?
I don't know. I might make a corn dip.
A corn dip?
Yeah. Yeah, you don't like
what
corn
the fuck's that? Corn dip?
I can't believe you're giving me
corn dip?
I can't believe you're giving me shit about this.
No,
like,
corn dip. I've never heard of it.
Send some over to your house. It's like
please explain.
Corn and a little bit of mayo and some jalapeno and some green onion with some good spices in there, and then you corn chip it in and you eat it. And it's warm. It's like a bake. It's some of the best shit ever.
so
produces some of the best shit.
Yeah, definitely see the corn the next day.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, bud. I just never heard of it. So you just call it corn dip. Huh,
I'll send that over to you. What about you? What are you gonna? A rib?
Give me one rib. I'm thinking nachos are always great if you make like really good nachos. I'm not talking about a few chips and nacho cheese. I mean, you got to make the beef, the seasoned beef with beans and refried beans and all the accoutrements.
Yeah,
is that the word? Accoutrements?
Accoutrements?
Accoutrements.
No, I don't. Maybe. Yeah, you're Mr. Accoutrements. How do you spell that? Let me look that up.
You should go to the AI.
You should actually. I'm sorry, I don't know that. Yeah,
I don't know any words.
Accoutrement.
Yeah, but anyway, nachos are always a great choice. It just sounds good to me right now, but who knows what we'll have during the game. It's always an important thing. And hey, everyone, put in the comments what you're going to make for the game. You know,
if you have good recipes, put them in there.
Yeah. This can become a recipe podcast.
Hey, one thing we could guarantee is people stuck it out this long and they put something in there. I literally will make one of them. I'll make a little video that we can share on next week's podcast of me making somebody else's recipe. You tell me what to make. And you should do it too. That'd be fun.
That is a great idea.
Watching the Packers kick ass at the same time.
That is a great idea. So put your recipes in the comments. We'll make them. That's a great idea.
It's a recipe podcast all of a sudden.
That's what we're going to have to do after the season is over.
I know.
Will it be after Sunday, or do we have to wait longer?
We're going to have to wait.
Tune in to find out. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night. Go Pack.
Go Pack.